Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I'm from Whistle Step Clayworks, and I'm going to walk you guys through a tutorial on how to make a pinch pot. Pinch pot is one of the simplest pots that you can make, so I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to start by taking some clay. I'm going to use about this much, so maybe a little bit bigger than a golf ball. I'm going to round it out. It doesn't matter if it's got some little lines on here, as long as it's mostly round, you're good. Then I'm going to take my thumb. I'm a right-handed person, so I'm going to take my right thumb and I'm going to hold my ball of clay in my left hand, and I'm going to take my right thumb and I'm just going to kind of squinker it in here. And I'm not going to stick it all the way through. And now I'm going to pretend like my thumb is in timeout and my thumb is not allowed to come out of this hole. So the left hand is going to turn the clay, and these right two fingers, the pads on these right two fingers, are going to press the clay. And then I'm going to give it just a little turn, and I'm going to give it another press, and I'm going to give it another little turn, and I'm going to give it another press. I wish when the person or the people who invented pinch pots invented them, that they really called them press pots, because you're really pressing it. When I think of pinching, I think of going like this, and you're not doing that. You're just pressing. So you're going to kind of just gently press this clay. These fingers are kind of bored. They're not allowed to do any pinching. They're really just moving the clay around. And you're just going to kind of keep turning your pot. As I'm pinching, you'll notice that the timeout hole that the thumb is making is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're going to keep pressing all the way around. The hole that the thumb is making has gotten nice and big. And then you're kind of finished with this project. An ideal pinch pot, sort of the sides here are kind of all the same thickness all the way around. We don't have bits that are really thick and really thin. So you can kind of do a lot with this little shape. For example, here is one that has already been fired, and it is a little ring holder. So you can take little bits of clay. So I've got a little tiny ball here, and I would just do a little scratching here. Gonna get a little of my slip, get a little on my little nubber here, scratch this, then I'm gonna press this on here. That will give me little fancy little balls all the way around the outside. You could put a little stem in here for rings. Another project that you can do with a pinch pot, this is a little bit bigger of a pinch pot, but you just kind of set him on his side and you've got a big mouth. So you can put tongues, eyes. This big mouth is a king big mouth. He's got a crown and little hands. This big mouth is a little bit smaller. He's got a little small tongue, little spikes, mohawk down his back here. He's pretty sweet looking. The thing that you want to do if you do want to make a big mouth like this is don't have anything stick out of your big mouth that's longer than your little finger. So here you can see the tail coming off of this big mouth is just about as long as my pinky. Don't really let him stick off any farther than that, because as you go to transport it or as somebody goes to load it in the kiln, it's much easier for your doodads that are sticking way off of here to break off. If you do want to make a hand, it seems like it would be really obvious. You would take a coil and then you'd put on just some fingers, right? If you try to put fingers on, it's really difficult to get fingers to stay because they are so tiny and very difficult to attach. So if you take your sort of club arm here, you're going to lay your club arm down on the table, and you just take your simple tool here. You can actually create fingers out of one piece of clay. This is significantly stronger and more likely to survive than if I tried to put on individual fingers. The other thing that you can do is you can kind of chop this off. You're going to scratch here. You would scratch on the side of your big mouth. You would add your slip and your slip, and then you're gonna support the inside of the mouth and you're gonna press this hand right on here. So it's really on there nice and tight. And again, it's shorter than my pinky, so I know that that is a good solid build. Another quick example is you can make 3 pinch pots and kind of press them all together, score and put some slip in there, and you can have like a little container for change. When you bring these back to us, make sure that they are not quite all the way dry. They are much more durable to travel before they've been fired all the way. We will fire these for you, and then once you get them back, you'll be able to paint them with acrylics or watercolor. They won't be safe for food because they won't have glaze on them, but they will still be beautiful. Thanks for joining us.